This is the kind of instructions that you often hear in a Feldenkrais class. Go slowly, make it small, reduce the effort, do only half of what you could do. Don't get ambitious, get curious. This kind of instructions sound really freaky considering our cultural environment. We're totally programmed to do exactly the opposite, right? Try harder. If it feels easy, it's probably because you should be doing more. I heard it often enough in my school days. You could do better. You should try harder. I really didn't want to try harder. I was bored. I somehow found it easy to do what was required and make it as easy as possible. I can tell you for sure, the instruction to try harder didn't make me learn any better. But in the Feldenkrais method, we are talking about learning. We don't just recommend that you be lazy. We try very consciously and consistently to create the best possible conditions for learning to occur. So there's a lot of wisdom behind this kind of instruction. Slow down, do less. Pressure and stress don't make you learn better. They're more likely to interfere with your learning process. What actually happens is that if you're at the edge of your ability, if you're really trying hard, if your muscle tone is high, you're likely to fall back into your habitual patterns. You're more likely to use the skills that you already master. You don't have the time, the space, the inner peace to explore new possibilities. So you fall back into the things you already know how to do. Learning implies that you're attempting skills that you don't yet have. You're trying to learn them. And if you want to be able to try new things, play with new possibilities, you must have some space for it, some freedom. You must be able to experiment, to fail, to not know. So you try different things. Some of them work, some of them don't. To do that, you have to reduce the demand for success. If you're working with skills that you don't yet have, you don't expect success. It is not about performing perfectly. To the contrary, failure is your ally. It helps you move in the right direction. You're mapping the terrain, not just learning the one right solution. You're exploring the space around the right solution. By the way, do that and you're likely to find more than one right solution. This exploration is part of learning. And here's a bit of science to support the idea of going slow and easy. When you reduce your muscle tone, you are more sensitive to small details. There's actually a mathematical formula that describes the relationship between the baseline intensity, that is, your muscle tone, and your sensitivity to change. It has been described in the 19th century, one of the first experimental studies in neuroscience. It's called the Weber-Fechner law. Let me read it to you. You're going to love it. One of the formulations of this law. Simple differential sensitivity is inversely proportional to the size of the components of the difference. Relative differential sensitivity remains the same regardless of size. Perfectly clear, right? I know. Why do scientists do this? It's actually rather simple. It's common sense when you get to understand it. So don't worry about the scientific language. Let me give you an example. These scientists came up with a mathematical ratio between effort and sensitivity. This ratio is a constant, and it is, in the case of muscle tone, 1 to 40. So here's a practical example, it will become crystal clear. If I carry a box that weighs 40 kilos, I will only notice a change of 1 kilo or more, 1 to 40. 1 kilo or more must be added or subtracted for me to notice that anything has changed. Otherwise, if you put half a kilo on it, I won't notice it. The difference is too small. But If I hold a 40-gram piece of paper, for example, I will notice a difference of 1 gram or more. So I may notice that something has changed if a fly lands on this piece of paper, maybe, or a bee. With a 40-kilo box, I probably wouldn't notice even if a bird landed on it. This is what the Weber-Fechner law means in practical terms. Less effort, more sensitivity. So, yeah, when you think of it, it makes sense. What does it have to do with learning? You only learn when you notice a difference. If two situations feel exactly the same to you, you don't differentiate between them, there is no learning. You don't have any new information. When we're dealing with learning movement skills, which is basically improve anything whatsoever, in your mobility, in your flexibility, in your force, in your efficiency and grace of movement, whatever it is that you want to learn or improve, if we slow down and reduce the effort, reduce the muscle tone, we are more receptive to new information. We learn better. And this means that we are more likely to find better solutions and will improve our performance. And you don't have to be in any field of high performance, an athlete or a musician, for this to make sense. It can simply mean that you improve your breathing, that your posture is more adequate to different situations, that you're more likely to respond to circumstances in an effective way. And it can go as far as improve the health of your joints, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, your neck. Come back again and again to these very simple rules of creating a learning space. Slow down, reduce the effort. And I would add, pay attention. If you move automatically, mechanically, you're not learning anything new. Your mind has to be in it. Do that on a regular basis and you'll find yourself on a trajectory of improvement. Apply this basic attitude and you're changing the trajectory of your life. Getting older doesn't have to mean inevitable decline. It doesn't have to mean that you're on a downhill free slide, that you will get worse with time, lose mobility, be able to do less and less things. This is not inevitable. It is not an integral part of aging. I'd say that losing mobility as we age is a cultural illness because in our modern environment, we challenge ourselves less and less. We move less, we sit more, we allow others to serve us, so we become less independent. It is not the case in cultures that live closer to Mother Earth, and it doesn't have to be like that for you. So when I say slow down and do less, I'm saying it with a grain of salt. I don't mean live in slow motion and do less and less with time. What I mean is this: create a learning space. Turn on the learning mode on a regular basis. It's like turning a switch. We're talking about the rules for an effective learning environment. Do it for just a few minutes, but do it repeatedly. Slow down so that you can pay attention to detail. Reduce the muscle tone so you're sensitive to smaller and smaller details. You'll be improving the functioning of your nervous system. Give it a couple of minutes a day, and then forget about it. Go back to your daily life. Be active, move around, do things. Follow your dreams. You don't have to deteriorate with time. Slow down, reduce the effort, and pay attention. Do this to turn on your learning mode. Then go back to performance mode and enjoy an active life. Stay well, stay in motion.